In this video, I'm going to show you my tips of how I managed to get very lean, very strong, very muscular, and all without having to take steroids. And also just in comparison and compare it to the likes of Durian Rider, who has admitted to taking steroids multiple times, trying to claim that he needed it for some jaw surgery that he needed, and has also been outed by his ex-girlfriend, saying that he's actually addicted to steroids. Not just EPO for helping him with his fitness, but actual steroids while they were together recently in Thailand. So, first of all, I'll just show you, if you look here. I have never taken steroids. I can happily say that because I regularly go and give blood. And in the UK, if you've taken steroids, you're not allowed to give blood. Or if you've injected yourself, you're not allowed to give blood out there. And it's something which I get pleasure out of doing. I enjoy the feel-good factor of giving blood and feeling like it morally superior. Diddley Rider, he has somebody who's commented on my videos in the past. He's saying that in one of my videos says, "Don't laugh too hard, mate, otherwise your balding that you got from being on the gas might just increase." So he thinks that gas, his word for being on steroids, he was trying to say that being on steroids makes you go bald. Okay. And then he tried to talk about why dark circles under my eyes, stuff like that. So anyway, Diddley Rider tried to use steroids as a negative thing against people that were more popular, fitter, stronger, more athletic than him, more attractive than him. He tried and claim that everyone's on steroids and that he was full natty. Then it came out that, okay, maybe he'd done steroids, but it was for an experiment, and yeah, obviously had no effect. And then it's come out that actually no, he's still taking steroids all the time. and look at how pathetic his body is. There's a picture of him with a woman's body. That woman is more muscular, more defined than Diddley Rider. Diddley Rider is an absolute twig. So I'm going to show you some of the things which I did and how to get as fit and as lean and as fast as possible, and the fact to do it without steroids. And if you're going to do it, what I will have to advise is that it takes serious dedication, a lot of effort, focus, and motivation. So it's not a case of just eating more bananas and pouring sugar on your rice that Durian Rider, or drinking Sprite, several cans of Sprite every day, isn't going to get you ripped. So anyway, here's my tips of how to actually get ripped. So when I went for my drastic weight loss body transformation attempt, it took me about 6 months to do the full transformation. And with doing that, I made sure that I was lifting heavy weights. Cardio is great for getting your heart fit, but if you want to build muscle, get lean, burn fat, even when you're sleeping, lifting heavy weights is what you need to do. If you're male, even more important. If you're female, lifting heavy weights at your level still won't make you bulky, but it will make you tone up a lot. So with my weight training that I do both plyometric, static, and normal concentric and eccentric movements. Here is a good example where I'm using static movements, where I'm holding the position of the squat. Deep squat, make sure you always go right down to the bottom so you can't go any further. If you're only doing half squats, they don't do anything. But look at the veins. Look at the veins in the delts. That's your shoulders. So one of the other things is the weight training is something I would say do in the evening. In the morning, do some form of high intensity cardio, high intensity interval training, or this is just a little circuit training which I made up for myself. So I'm trying to give, quite a lot of times I was doing workouts at least 7 times a week, sometimes more. So I'd be going in the morning before work, doing something like this where I'm trying to get my heart rate up as high as possible, get the metabolism going as fast as possible, and getting myself sweating buckets first thing in the morning before even having a shower, before having to work, before going to work is the best way to get your metabolism going and get yourself really burning fat from the start of the morning. So this little routine was just simple plyometric, ball throwing, really developing your power, trying to throw it up as high as possible. So that was a medicine ball, I think that was like 10 kilograms. And just doing that as many times as possible. This was another exercise which I developed called Ultimate Fat Burning Movement 2. So here I'm using it with a 20 kilogram core bag, which just is a bag of sand, and this incorporates every muscle in your body, from your abs, your hips, your chest, from your shoulders, the pull up and all that stuff. And I can barely do 8 at a time. If I could do 8, I'm like, that is amazing. But that is one of the most intense exercises ever that I can do. And it's more about the fact that it's high intensity. So in between the circuit training that I'm doing, I'm trying to limit my recovery time. So I'm trying to get as exhausted as fast as possible, but with having a little bit of enough of a rest to be able to focus on the next exercise that I'm going to do. So there I went from the ultra fat burners, UFB2s, I'll put a link to that down below, straight into kettlebell, alternating kettlebell swings. So here bringing it down in between the legs, not letting it touch the ground, and that really works the back, the shoulders, the core, your butt. It's a full body exercise, and as you're not just swinging it and letting it just fly around, you're having to really control it at all times. And then another one is press-ups. Again, fantastic. Press-ups are better than bench press for body conditioning because it engages your core, your hips, your back and everything. So on this one, this is where I'm using it, so it's elevated. So I'm a little bit elevated, but what it is I'm doing power over. So I'm going from left to right, which means it's asymmetrical exercise, and it means that the side which is higher up has more of a work to do each time. So it's more intense on each side that you go down. So definitely, again, there is a power exercise. You're just trying to do as many as you can, giving myself 20 seconds rest between each one, and that's a great way to get the heart rate up, get the muscles charged, and really start your body. And if you do this first thing in the morning, I would say this is much better to do this in the morning rather than night. Imagine it like you're a sports car. It's better to accelerate really hard at the start and then coast for the rest of the day than coast from the very start and then accelerate just at the end before you have to brake, aka going to sleep. So doing this in the morning, a great way to get your metabolism up. You don't need to be taking steroids either. And if you don't have all these things, like things to stand on, then just jump over things. Jumping is, again, one of the best exercises you can do. And it can be low impact, that's the thing. So here is a very low impact jumping exercise, and it looks very simple. Try and do it for a minute. Try and do 60 reps in 1 minute. It's absolutely impossible, and you'll see at the end of this video, the sweat is actually dripping off me.
After a minute of that, time for some ab work. Ten reps of hanging crunches, hanging reverse crunches.
Additionally, ab work, I would always advise don't do abdominal crunches. If you're trying to get a six-pack, don't do sit-ups. They are possibly the worst exercises to do for your stomach, and they're the highest cause of back injuries that you get in the gym. People try and do it with weights and all that kind of stuff. It's absolutely terrible. Far better exercises. Although this one is a bit more on the hips, it definitely, if you try and really lift your hips up away from the bench at the back, it really engages the core in a way which doing sit-ups
some kettlebell swings, it absolutely kills. And you can see how much it kills by the amount of sweat that comes off your head after you've done the exercise. And to do that before work is a good way to get your metabolism nice and high and start burning lots of fat. So there you go, give it a try. 10 exercises, 20 minutes, that's all you need to do.
It doesn't. And you can do it with your hanging down like that with your arms there, or with your arms at the side as well. Definitely gets your core totally engaged. And then lastly, just some simple heavy weightlifting. So there's a difference between weightlifting and powerlifting. This is weightlifting, where it's explosive exercises. So you're bringing it up from the ground and then you're doing explosions and all that. So plyometric exercises where you're exploding against your body. Weightlifting exercises like this where you're jerking things up in the air. And powerlifting exercises like this, like the squats and the deadlifts. So important. That's how to get ripped. However, what I will say is also doing these big full body exercises like squats, deadlifts, power overs, all that kind of stuff are great. I would say you should also do more basic exercise. So here is one of the things I say is the power overs. Again, you don't need a bench. You can just do it on a weight or on a couple of books. Great way to develop power, strength, works your chest, your shoulders, your abs, even your legs. Fantastic exercise. Dips is another fantastic exercise, really working the upper body if you don't want to do too much on your legs. Using your back is one of your biggest muscular areas and you should really work that. Doing seated rows like this, great way for working your biceps and your back and your lats. And then doing some more isolated exercises on your tricep. So this is the tricep push down. Make sure you give it a little push out at the bottom. It's a great way to isolate and really engage the triceps. And also this one hanging over, because the tricep is 3 muscles and you can get it from lots of different angles. So again, the triceps has 3 muscles, your bicep only has 2, so work your triceps a third harder than you do your biceps. And with biceps, again, is more about doing it slow and controlled if you're wanting, and time under tension is something that you really want to focus on, rather than just, it's not just all about exploding or just trying to get the weight up. It's about really concentrating on each exercise that you're actually doing. If you're wanting to take any supplements, creatine is something to definitely take, but only once you've hit a plateau. If you're a noob to the gym, going to the gym, and you will just make fantastic gains straight away. Only start taking creatine whenever you haven't seen an increase in any of your strength or weights for over like about 3 weeks or so. If you want to take any supplements like protein powders, you certainly can. If you think you're starting to lift a lot of heavy weight and you're not getting enough protein, there's pea, there's hemp, and there's soy protein powders you can get for the vegan diet, which are all apps. I think myprotein.com, they have a selection of vegan protein powders for you to use. But yeah, so I also did intermittent fasting during this, so my morning workouts were completely fasted and I only ate around about from 2 till 7 each day, so good, like only a 5-hour eating window, but having a 5-hour eating window and eating as many calories as I could in that time, well, my around 2,000 calories during that time, I was able to gain strength, gain muscle, lose body fat, get fitter, get leaner, and get a body like that, which I'd never had before. But what I will always say, takes a lot of dedication, a lot of effort. It's not a case of just adding sugar to your Sprite drinks and then suddenly you get lean. No, you've got to put in shitloads of effort, and that's where you should respect people who have done this rather than just people who are natural skinny fucks or using steroids.